Oh, hey guys, just listening to my song about circles. Goes around the world. Welcome to your notes on circles. Hope you liked that one. Here's the deal. I wrote these definitions out for you. The notes are posted, so please check them out. But in general, here is what we have. The definition of a circle is a collection of points that are a fixed distance. So the fixed just means the same. So it's the same distance. All right, and that distance we call the radius. From a fixed, or from a certain point, that point is the center. All right, now there's two important formulas that you're really gonna need to know for this section. You've learned them before, guys. Midpoint formula. It's really just the average of the points. So you do the x plus x divided by 2, y plus y divided by 2. So like if I had the points 2, 5, and I don't know, 4, -1, excuse my handwriting on this app, I would do x plus x divided by 2. So that's x plus x, that's 6 over 2, which is 3. And then y plus y divided by 2, 5 and -1 is 4 over 2, which is 2. So the midpoint would be 3, 2. Okay, that's how you find midpoint. And then distance formula right here is the square root of x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. We're going to do some examples with that as well, but you are going to need to know those formulas for this section. All right, the equation of a circle. The equation of a circle looks like this, and it's much better handwriting on my notes, so check it out on Schoology. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. This is the formula you need to know. All right, so a couple things. First of all, the center of the circle is HK. Just like the vertex, notice that we changed both signs for this one, okay? I wonder what the R stands for. It's the radius. Okay. So one thing that I want to make sure that we're careful of is to square, when you have a number here, make sure you square root this number to find the actual radius. All right, so that's a caution. All right, guys, that's everything you need to know. Check out my notes. Let's do some examples together. All right, first example. This one should be pretty quick. What is the center of this circle? All we do is change both signs. So it is +4, -2. What's the radius? Square root this number because 16 is r squared. So the radius is 4. That's it. So now we're just going to graph it. We've done this before. So 4, -2 is my center. And I'm just going to count the radius. I'm going to count it 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces each way. And I'm working with a different app, so I'm not going to erase those. Well, maybe I can. Let's see. Yeah. 4 spaces each way. And now I'm just going to draw my beautiful circle. All right. There it is, guys. First example done. Let's go on to example 2. All right, this says that we want to write the equation and graph a circle with a center at 2, 4 and passes through this point, through -3, 5. So here's the deal. okay, we know that the equation is going to be x minus 2 quantity squared plus y minus 4 quantity squared, but we don't know what this radius is going to be. All right, so that's an issue. So again, the reason that's x minus 2 and x minus 4 is because I just took the center and I changed the signs. So here's the deal, guys. From the center to a point is the radius. So this distance right here, from the center to the point, is the radius. So I have to find the distance between those. That's right. I'm going to do the distance formula. So for the distance formula, the way I like to do it is I kind of draw what's called the skeleton. I make a little smiley face. See it there? That's how I remember it. I'll get rid of that though. All right. All you have to do is plug in your x values. So that's 2 and -3. And plug in your y values. That's 4 and 5. And chug away. This is going to turn to a 5 squared, which is 25, plus 4 minus 5 is -1 squared, which is 1. So I get square root of 26. And that's the radius. Now, something that's interesting, though, is remember, this needs to be the radius squared. So what is the radius? It's square root of 26, but the radius squared is just 26. So that is what goes into the equation, which is kind of nice. Now, something else that I like to do is figure out what the radius is in terms of like a decimal. So I know that the radius is the square root of 26. That's about 5.1, and that's going to help me with graphing. Oops, that R got cut off, whatever. All right, so for graphing, the center is 2, 4. So 2, 4. Now 5.1 is the radius. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.1, you just go a little bit further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.1. Okay, really? It's going to go off the graph a little bit on this one. All right, connect your dots. And you have a circle. So there's example 2. All right, guys, number 3, we have that the endpoints of the diameter are 1, -2, and 5, 4. So we need to find the equation and figure out the radius. And then graph it. All right, so here's the deal. We don't know the center. We don't know the center of the circle, but we can do the midpoint formula to find it. So x plus x divided by 2. That's 1 plus 5, so that's 6 divided by 2. We're just taking the average of the points, guys. That's it. -2 and 4, so that is 2 over 2. So the center is 3, 1. That's the start of the problem. Now, to find the radius, I have 2 options. I think the easiest one is to take the center that we just found and one of these points and do the distance formula with that. That's what I would do because the radius goes from the center to an end point. You could do the distance with the endpoints of the diameter, but then you would have to remember to divide that by 2. And I think that that's kind of a lot to remember. So let's go ahead and just do the distance formula with the center and one of the endpoints. It does not matter which. So I'm going to choose 5, 4. So for the distance formula, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, guys. So for the distance formula, I always draw the skeleton. All right, my x values will be 5 and 3. And you have to go in the same order. So since I started with the 5, that means I have to start with the same point. So I started with the 4 and then the 1. 5 minus 3 is 2, squared is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3, squared is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13, so the radius is the square root of 13. Now I'm ready to write the equation. It will be x minus 3 quantity squared plus y minus 1 quantity squared equals the radius squared, so that's just 13. So the radius is the square root of 13, which is about 3.6. So close to being done. We just have to plot our center and count our radius. So it's 3, 1. 3, 1 is right here, and 3.6. 1, 2, 3.6. 1, 2, 3.6. 1, 2, 3.6. 1, 2, 3.6. So again, it's just like you have to estimate. It's not going to be perfect. Oh, that circle was really bad though. Let's try that again. Okay, whatever. That's going to have to do. So there's the circle. Let's keep going. Okay, write the equation of a circle with a center at -2, 6 and a diameter of 1/2. This is strange. Well, I know this for sure. We're going to have an x plus 2, quantity squared, change the sign. Okay, plus y minus 6, quantity squared, equals, we got to find the radius. Well, remember, the radius is half of the length of the diameter. So we're going to take 1/2 and we're going to divide it by 2. That's 1/4. So to find the radius, well, the radius is 1/4. The center, it already gave it to us, -2, 6. Now the radius squared, don't forget in the equation, we have to square the radius. So that's going to be 1/16. And that's it for this one. Let's go on. Okay, number 5. This is my favorite problem. It's intense, but don't freak out. Here's the deal. This is a circle written in standard form. So we need to rewrite this in centered form, which means we need to complete the square with my x's and my y's. So you have to complete the square twice. It is insane. See if you guys can follow along with my steps. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. Here we go. We have x squared. My first step is to group the x's together. So I'm just rearranging. I put the two x terms together, and I'm going to put in a blank space here because I'm about to complete the square. I'm going to do the same thing with my y's. Y squared plus 10y plus blank. Now, I'm going to move the constant to the other side. So that's -25. And then here's the other weird part. If I have 2 blank spaces on the left-hand side, that means I need 2 blank spaces on the right-hand side. So I'm going to add in a blank and a blank. All right? So we have to complete the square. I usually do this off to the side, but I'll do it right here just because this app doesn't give me a lot of room. So I take the middle term, divide it by 2, that's -6, and then square it. So that's going to be 36. Now I have to do the same thing with the y's. So we have 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Square it. That's going to be 25. Now look, guys. So since I added the 36 on the left, I have to add it on the right. Same with the 25. So here's what we get. Now, this is the part of completing the square. I have to rewrite this. Remember, the trick is to use this number. So it's x minus 6, quantity squared, plus y plus 5, quantity squared. Okay, again, I just factored this. Equals, here the 25's cancel. That's not always going to happen, but it equals 36. So I'm done. This is the equation in center form. I just completed the square twice. It seems intense, but it's really not that bad. And because of this, I can figure out the center, which is going to be 6, negative 5, and the radius, which is 6. All right, this is the last one. It's also a completing the square problem. It's just a little different because look what happens. I group my x's together. I get x squared plus 4x plus blank, but the y squared doesn't have anything to group with, so I'm actually just going to leave that. I'm still going to move the 18 over, and I'm going to only add one blank space because that's all I added on the left side. Now complete the square. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Square it, that's 4. So that's what I add on both sides. All right, factor, we get x plus 2 squared plus y squared equals 22. That's it. That's the equation. Now I know I'm completing the square really fast, but I'm hoping that you guys really picked up completing the square the last couple days. All right, so the center of the circle, now careful, the center of the circle is negative 2, nothing is grouped with the y's, so it's 0. And the radius is the square root of 22, which is 4.7. And this one didn't have us graph, so we're done. All right, so that's the lesson. I know I went through some of these examples pretty quickly, but hopefully you guys picked up on it. I'll see you guys on Monday. Do your homework. Worksheet 5. Good luck.